Good day, welcome to my most tutorials. We are continuing with our cells. So let's first have a look at cell specialization. So each and every cell is very specific on what it does, right? So cell specialization simply means that new cells are formed from already existing cells by cell division in an organism, right? So at first they are all similar in structure, but in order to be suited for their functions, they have to undergo cell specialization. When we say specialization, we are talking, for instance, when it's a work environment, we can say that we have someone who specializes in sewing garments, and the other one specializes in folding them. Then we have another one who specializes in ironing them. That's how our cells are. They are all cells, yes. They are all basic units of life, yes. But then they have their own specific functions, what they specialize in. Okay, so on these specialized cells, we have got the ciliated cells, we have got the root hair cells, the xylem vessels, the gut cells, nerve cells, muscle cells, white blood cells, and red blood cells. So we are going to look at these cells in detail. So starting with the ciliated cells, so these are found in the inner lining of your respiratory tract and the oviducts. So their main function in the respiratory tract is that they sweep out mucus which contains dust particles and germs. It is swept it's either at the back of your throat for you to swallow it, or for you to sneeze it out, right? Or to cough it out. So now when they are inside of the oviduct, they actually move the ovum. They sweep the ovum down to your towards your uterus, right? So they have got the special adaptations. These adaptations, they make them to be very suitable for their job, right? So the presence of cytoplasmic hairs called the cilia, it makes it easier for them to do their job. And also they've got a higher concentration of mitochondria. Remember, we said the mitochondria is the powerhouse. It generates energy, so it provides energy for the cilia to keep moving, right? So we have got this specialized cell. This is very, very important. The root hair cells. So these are found near the tips of your roots, and the root hairs, they are mainly for absorption of water and mineral salts, and they are also very important in the sense that they anchor the plant in the ground. So it also has special adaptations, which is that they've elongated outgrowth, meaning long extensions. These extensions, they increase the surface area for faster diffusion of water molecules and the minerals, right? They also don't have any chloroplast. They are not detailed inside, making it easier for them for absorption to take place, right? They also have a higher concentration of mitochondria to provide energy for the absorption of water and the mineral salts, right? These root hair cells, another thing is that they are numerous. It's quite a lot of them, thereby increasing the surface area. We have got the xylem functions, the xylem cells. So what you need to know about the xylem vessels, we are going to touch it when we're looking at photosynthesis, is that these xylem vessels they carry water and the mineral salts, right? They supply the plant with water and the mineral salts. Their adaptations is that their neighboring cells and walls of neighboring cells broken to form continuous tubes, and the protoplasm is absent, leaving a hollow space, meaning they are hollow in the middle, allowing the flow of the fluids inside them, right? And their walls are filled with lignin to provide mechanical support. They give the plant support, right? We have the muscle cells. So you should be able to identify a muscle cell under the microscope. You should know how a muscle cell looks like. So these are ones, they contract to produce movement. They bring about movement. They contract and relax, thereby bringing about movement. They are the ones that makes it easier for us to walk. What does the muscle do? It pulls the bone to bring about movement. When you pull a bone, One set of muscles, they are relaxing, and the other set of muscle is contracting, thereby bringing about movement, right? So the presence of actin and myosin filaments in the cytoplasm, which carries out contraction. So that's what makes it easier for muscle cells to do their job. So moving on to the red blood cells, they look so cool. They look like the coffee drops. I'm sure if you know them. They look exactly like these red blood cells. So these are the ones that transport oxygen throughout your body, and they also carry just small amounts of carbon dioxide. So the question might come and ask you the adaptations of these red blood cells. You need to know that they are biconcave disc-like in shape. This increases the surface area for oxygen diffusion. They also have the red pigment, which is the hemoglobin, and the hemoglobin has got a higher affinity for oxygen. Affinity simply means attraction, right? So the hemoglobin is more attracted to the oxygen, and it combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin when oxygen concentrations are high. When the oxygen concentrations are low, the muscles form what we call the oxyhemoglobin. So this oxyhemoglobin it actually dissociates, forming hemoglobin and oxygen, right? So these red blood cells, they don't have any nucleus, making them making it much easier for them to perform their job. Okay, moving on to the nerve cells. These ones, they are there to conduct electrical impulses from one part of the body to another. So they also have their adaptations. We have got the dendrites that collect impulses from neighboring cells. We have got the presence of an axon that carries impulses from one end of the neuron to another. We also have the presence of synaptic knob that forms a link with other neurons, right? Making it much easier for electrical impulses to be moved from one point to the other. We have got the presence of node of Ranvier that makes the impulses move faster. So you must take note of the part of the neuron having the nucleus and cytoplasm. We call that whole part a cell body, right? Moving on, we have got the white blood cells. These are very, very important. The white blood cells, these are cells that defend the body against infections, against any form of diseases, and we've got 5 types of these white blood cells. We've got the monocytes, lymphocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. So these white blood cells, they fight infections, they fight diseases. Okay, excuse me. We've got so you should be able to identify these white blood cells. We should just know the types of white blood cells, know their names, and what they do overall. So the adaptations include that they are lobed. They've got lobed nucleuses, which makes it very easy for them to engulf bacteria, to engulf any foreign material. I'm sure you can see that their nucleus is not like they are all solid and circular. They are lobed, right? So they are also able to move towards germs. They have no fixed shape. They change shapes depending with the type of bacteria or organism that is there for them to fight it, right? And then moving to the next slide, we've got the gut cells, and these gut cells they go in pairs, and they control the opening and closing of the stomata. We find it on leaves. We are going to have a more detailed, we are going to talk about them later when we're doing plant nutrition. So these ones, they control the size of the stoma, so they know when to open very wide to allow gaseous exchange to take place, and also to allow water to go out, and they know when to close, and they usually close at night, right, to make sure that the plant does not use water at night. Remember, at night the plant cannot photosynthesize, so it does not need any entries of carbon dioxide to come in. Remember, carbon dioxide is the one that is required for photosynthesis to take place, right? We have the phloem vessels. So these ones, they transport manufactured fruit from one part of the plant to another. So it depends with the plant. Most plants manufacture their food in the leaves. Some they manufacture in other areas, and because of the products of photosynthesis being glucose, now we have the phloem cells that allows the starch produced during photosynthesis to flow through it. So this is mainly for what? Transportation of starch produced, and we call it translocation. We have got the parasite cells. We're going to look at them in more detail, and you should be able to identify them under the microscope. They are the long ones there on our second picture of a microscope slide. The long ones, the long rectangular like in shape, those are the parasite cells, and their main function is for photosynthesis. And the reason why it's so easy for them to photosynthesize is that they have higher concentration of chloroplast. They are also very long. They are very long cells, and they makes it easier for chloroplast to migrate upwards or downwards as light intensity changes, so that they are not damaged by excess light.